Mr. Transformers 96 here with another video, and I'm going to talk about a newly shown Hot Toys figure, and this time we have Pennywise from It Chapter 2. So this is quite exciting, getting something really unique from Hot Toys. You know, they do a lot of Marvel, a lot of Star Wars, but it's cool to get a little bit of an odd figure every now and then, and I'd say that this definitely qualifies as that. Pennywise from the kind of breakout hit horror film It, which I am a fan of. I'm not a big horror fan whatsoever, definitely not classic horror. I don't enjoy horror too much. I go to very few horror films a year. However, the original one, or not the original, but the first one that came out in 2017, really interested me. I was actually very excited to see that, and it's probably the first like actual horror movie I saw in theaters. And I loved it. I really loved it. I saw it like 5 times. I own it. Really enjoyed that movie. Was very looking forward to the second chapter. And personally, I think the second one's okay. I've still seen it 3 times, but I don't think it's anywhere near as good as the first one, but it's okay. But yeah, so let's get into the actual figure here. This is obviously Pennywise. What's kind of nice about the It movies is that Pennywise looks the same. It's not like Marvel where you have a costume from one specific movie. This Pennywise can fit in a collection of It Chapter 1 or Chapter 2. He looks exactly the same, which is great. As far as the figure goes, face sculpt wise, I think it's really good. I think that there is a lot of good happening here. I think there's maybe too many wrinkles around the eyes. It gives him a slightly older appearance than Bill Skarsgård in the role, from at least what I kind of picture him as. I think of him looking a little bit younger than that, but still I think that it looks quite nice. I think the hair is sculpted really well. I like the way that it really like curls at the very top in this loop. I think that it does look really nice. You know, with a good paint job, I think the hair just will look really good. And then as far as the expression is concerned, I definitely like it. He's got a big smile, which I think is very cool. And I love the fact that you get 2 head sculpts. Another one is his more monstrous one when he's like about to attack somebody. The monstrous one I like. I think that it looks a little odd as far as the cheeks look a little too big on the monstrous one. However, I think that it's neat. However, but I think that there would be a better face sculpt to go with as the secondary. I think something even more vicious where the mouth was open a little bit wider would have been cooler, or I would have actually loved a Deadlight's head sculpt, which is him with like his face folded out with like the full mouth with all the teeth and the lights and everything. I think that would have been a cooler head sculpt, to be honest. But nonetheless, I do like the monstrous one that you do get. Now with the regular head sculpt, my only issue is I would have liked the eye to be a little bit further out, because obviously that's a trademark look of Pennywise where he's got like one eye that's like just a little lazy, but it's kind of looking to the side. I think that looks cool. And to be honest, in the smiling head sculpt, those eyes look pretty straight. You know, like it doesn't look like they represented that at all, which is a shame considering you know, he's like that at like all times. One of the eyes is off, and that's something it's made even more unique by the fact that Bill Skarsgård can actually do that. That's not a CGI thing. That is actually just him doing that with his eyes, which just kind of adds to the creepiness factor, which I like. So I would have preferred that be represented here. I think on the monstrous one, he does. They do show it a bit more where the eyes are a little bit more separated. Yeah, like as you can see, this one's like a little bit further off, so I would have preferred them to stick with that for the other one as well. As far as the costume looks really nice. Obviously, he's got quite an interesting costume in the film, so Hot Toys probably had a lot of fun designing that. I think it looks good. In some shots, I think the shoulders aren't puffy enough, to be honest, but overall, I think that it looks quite nice, and I like the coloring to it. It's got kind of a worn, you know, darker cream color to it, which I think looks nice. As far as the accessories are concerned, he does come with a decent amount of stuff, although I think that there could be more, to be honest. But he has the Jack-in-the-Box, which is cool. He comes with a severed arm. He comes with a skateboard, a balloon, and the paper boat, of course. Those are kind of neat accessories. The skateboard, I think, is kind of a useless one, considering he doesn't even hold that in the movie. That is in the movie, obviously, but he's not even in the room when that skateboard's there. So I don't find that particularly interesting. The arm, I think, is a fine accessory, although I find it a little gross, so I'd never use it personally, but hey, it's a neat accessory. And then the balloon, I think, is a really nice one. I hope that it comes with like a bendable wire, and I hope it feels really sturdy, so that it doesn't feel like the wire is going to break or anything like that. The boat, I think, is quite nice, but it's something very small. And then the Jack-in-the-Box, I think, is neat. Nothing too great, though. But there's certainly other accessories that he could come with. One really easy accessory that I would liked to see him come with is a knife. He obviously uses a knife against Ben in Chapter 2. Would have liked him to come with that. There's also, I'm thinking of Pops because Pops have made so many different variations on Pennywise. There's a lot they could do. Interchangeable arms that are like the spider arms, I think would have been really neat too. As well as there's multiple other head sculpts I would have liked to see, like the Deadlights head sculpt, the head sculpt with the wig, where it's like blowing past his face, which they could do with just an interchangeable hair sculpt, because they do that sometimes. So that would have been a cool one to represent, and a little bit easier than doing a secondary head sculpt. So that would have been cool, as well as the one with a stake through his head. I think that would have been a really cool head sculpt too, considering he does come with the hands from that scene, the monstrous hands that are kind of ripping through the gloves. You can see him right here, so it's neat that he comes with that. And then as far as just accessories that he can hold, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I would really like to see him come with. But I think that for the most part, as far as the accessories are concerned, it's decent. I definitely like the base that he comes with too. I think the base is really nice, and it makes for a good display piece on its own. My only concern is it might be a little too small. I would have liked, it's way out of scale with him. Obviously, the drain should be much bigger than that when you just look at him. So I would like to see the base just be bigger, just in general. Same design, just larger. Considering he doesn't have much areas to stand on. Like, as you can see, his feet take up a decent amount of the top space, and they are as close together as you could possibly get them. So I'd like to see a little bit more space be given to that base. But I definitely like the fact that it is the drain, and it has like the water going into it, and there's blood in the water. I think that's very cool. And then the It nameplate looks nice as well. And it looks like he comes with a nice selection of hands. He has some interesting ones too, to do some fun poses with, I think. Again, the other issue I have with the balloon, other than it being maybe feeling like it's fragile, it looks like that hand sculpt that holds the balloon is separate from the balloon, and therefore I don't know if he's gonna have a great grasp on it. So I wish that he came with a hand sculpt that was like attached to the balloon, just so that like it would fully be attached to his hand, because it looks like just holding it with two fingers. I bet when you first get it, it'll be really tight and it'll hold very well. But if you haven't posed like that for a while, that's gonna loosen the grip on those two fingers, and he might just not have a good grip on it anymore, which would be disappointing. This figure has gone on pre-order. Here are the details for it. It retails for $267, which I do think is expensive. He comes with a secondary head sculpt, which helps for sure. But overall, I think that it's a little high priced. Maybe just $260 would have been okay. I think $260 would have been a little bit more in line with their kind of more recent higher prices. $267 is just a little bit too much. Although I like the fact that it would have been cool if he was 227. I think that to stick with the 27 years whole shtick, that would have been kind of neat. And then he doesn't come out until February or March of 2021. Very far release date, which is unfortunate. It's not as far as some of the ridiculous release dates that we've been seeing as of late, with like Iron Man as well as Mysterio, which are both expected to come out 2 years from now. This one comes out in 1.5 years from now, so still a long time. It's much better, and it used to be that Hot Toys figures would go on pre-order and they come out about 1 year after, but now it looks like the release dates are just getting longer and longer, which is disappointing. Whether I plan to get this one or not, I don't think I'm going to get it. I can't imagine in the beginning of 2021 I'll still find this like totally necessary. If this was coming out right now, I'd be pretty into it and I'd probably get it. But 1.5 years from now, I don't think I'm going to get it. I do have quite a big Pennywise collection, but it's all Funko related. I have almost every Funko Pop of Pennywise, as well as I do have every Mystery Mini of Pennywise. And I have a really cool display. I'm really happy with it. But I don't think I'm going to need this one. I kind of like the Funko design for him. It makes him a little bit more cartoonish, and not so just kind of realistic and gross. But I do like this figure quite a bit, but again, just don't plan to get it. If I did get it, though, I would kind of display it with that Funko display. I think it would be just really cool to kind of have like a Pennywise shrine. But yeah, overall, that's my thoughts on this new Pennywise figure from Hot Toys. Let me know what you guys think of it, and thanks so much for watching.